Okay, so let's continue our discussion. I saw there are questions from the students. So yes, I am recording the class, and then so we'll put everything on the YouTube. So by the way, so you can also watch my previous recording on YouTube, right? And then other things I want to mention or discuss with you before we move to the content of the discussion is regarding to the syllabus quiz, right? So the syllabus quiz, if you can open that for now, I can give you the answer. But again, so this syllabus quiz is designed for you to familiar with the formality of the class. It wasn't designed to really give you a hard time. It's just designed to help you to get familiar with the format of the class. The first questions, in what way can you contact the instructor if you have any question? So the answer includes 2, 3, and 4 through the emails. Email me through Gmails when it's urgent, and you can visit instructor in his office. But apparently, so you can just visit me like a virtual, right? So this is the first one. The second one, the answer is false. The third one, you will take a total of 3 tests, each score out of 160. So this doesn't include the final. And then the next one, if you need technical support, you can call. So the last option is correct, right? So, and then the next one, according to the syllabus, which of the following are learning objectives for this course? So the answer included 1, 3, and 5, right? So the last one, choose the correct statement. So actually the first one and the third one is correct. Okay, so if you still have any question or concerns regarding to the syllabus quiz, let me know, and then so I can help you out. But again, so just don't worry too much, because this syllabus quiz at the end of the day only counts 1 point to your final grades. But still, so I will help you to familiar with my class and then get this credit, right? So back to here. So we are in the third principle. How much is the decision at the margin? And so we use this example, like whether you want to take another bite of candy bar, to show you what does trade-off means. And throughout this discussion, so we have understand a few concepts. So now I may just introduce them to you formally. First is marginal decision, which is decision made at the margin of an activity. Like, say, for example, in previous one, whether you want to take another bite or not, or in the class. Right? So later in the class, you get bored because your attention is limited. You may want to play with your cell phone. You may want to Snapchat with your friend, or you may want to check out your stock price in Robinhood, right? And then, so at that point, so you're going to make a decision. Should I sleep my mind out of the lecturing, or should I focus on the lecturing? And then, so you may miss some important information, both in terms of knowledge and then in terms of the credit opportunity you can earn in class, right? So this is marginal decision. The second one is marginal analysis, which is the study of marginal decision, right? The last one is incentive, which is anything that offers reward to people who change their behavior. Like in our class, I do many things to give you incentive or change your behavior, right? Say, for example, so you may not want to come to class. Right? I totally understand that. But however, it's important to come to class so that you can succeed, both in terms of getting a good grade and in terms of learn the knowledge to prepare you for your future career. Right? But however, so this coming to class can be tedious, can be boring at some point. And to encourage you to come to class, and what I have done is just offer some random pop-up quiz So this pop-up quiz comes randomly, so you do not want to miss those opportunity. So then, so you log in every day or anytime. Now, so this is one example of incentive. Okay. Now I can show you another real life examples of incentives or the trade-offs. Right. So earlier last year, around time of May, Omaha major, I'm not sure so whether she still that major or not. And back then, so she believed a mask mandate will help flatten the curve. Okay, but certainly not everyone believe the same things. Right? Like when we start the discussion, you can see President Trump and President-elect Biden took very different view regarding to mask wearing, right? And I believe everybody understood or remember last year there was like national debate, even like international debate. Should we wear a mask or not? At some point, mask wearing becomes a political issue, right? Okay, so now certainly there's a trade-off, right? And so you can read these two opposite view. Okay, so I leave the reading for you, and also there's a discussion again. So I leave that for you, so you can write down your argument, or you can write down the trade-off in terms of a mask mandate. Okay, so the way you do is list the positive of mask mandate and list the negative of mask mandate. Here I can give you example. So what is the benefit of mask mandate? And the science told us a mask can slow down the spread of the virus, right? And like 2 days ago, I was reading New York Times, and that article even mentions so one is good and two is better, right? So this is the positive side. But and then so what is the negative side of mask mandate? Certainly make you feel uncomfortable, and also it's going to make someone feel not cool, right? And also mask mandate costs the money because we have to wear that, and so we have to produce so much. And furthermore, it may cause some pollution because at the end you need to discard those masks, right? So, and from the standpoint of view of the government, and when they decide should we impose this mask mandate or not, and we have to wait this plus versus those negative, right? Okay, so this is just a this is like application. Now we go to the fourth principle. People usually respond to incentives, exploiting opportunities to make themselves better off. Right? Here is an example to help you understand what this means. Okay, so in the United States, right, restaurant customers have the option of adding a tips to restaurant bills, but this is not a standard practice in much of the Europe. Okay, and then the question is, where would you expect waiter to be more attentive? And then to understand that, so we need to understand the incentive. And furthermore, we need to understand people respond to incentive, right? And then, so clearly in the United States, if you as a waiter or waitress, you don't pay enough attention to your customer, and then so your customer is going to respond, or in some sense, quote unquote, punish, right? By leaving no tips or very little tips. But then so you are going to rely some tips to compensate your wage, right? So in that sense, So you must respond this incentive to work very hard. But unfortunately, in continental Europe, that's not the case. In the sense, whether I pay attention or not really doesn't matter, because either way, there's no tip, right? And I will be covered by my salary. Okay? So this is just to give you an example how people respond to incentive. And then to use my class as example. If there's no random pop-up quiz, some student may wondering, so why should I come to class? Okay, so as long as can get a grade. So I'm going to just sleep through the class and not pay attention, right? So that's a natural response to incentive. Okay, but of course, so there's a trade-off for you to do that. Okay, so you understand what is the trade-off. Okay, so now this incentive, so usually we say like a positive, like in the previous one, okay? Because you pay attention to your customer, you work hard, and you get a reward. But there's a dark side of incentive, or in some sense, there's a negative incentive. Okay, so now here is another case study. Okay, so in Pennsylvania, there is a juvenile prison in Pennsylvania. So the prison owners offered judges bribe. So the more young people they sent to jail, and then the money, the extra money they're going to get. Right. So clearly, this is an incentive. This is an incentive to the judges. Right. And then the judges will respond. Right. And then so they respond by doing something not fair. Okay. And in one extreme case, there was a teen. He was jailed for a Facebook page that was critical. Oh, sorry. So this is a she was critical of her high school principal. Right. This is outrageous. And so eventually, these things has been uncovered, and it has been found the judges had accepted more than $2 million in bribes. But then here, so the incentive is the money they're going to receive from the prison, right? Okay, so I understand we have some international students in our class. And so here, just a quick background in terms of prisoner system in the United States. So in the United States, so we have both public prison and private prison. Okay, so the public prison is just a government-owned, government-maintained facility, right? So this is going to host those prisoners, but they're also private. So meaning, so say for example, I am the real estate developer, and I build up prisons, and then so I will get contract from either the federal or state government. So the government will send those prisoners in my facility, and as a return, I will get reimbursement for the maintenance costs of the prison. But there's a clear, you can see, so here not only the judges response to incentive, and the prison owners also respond to incentives, right? Because they invest, they spend money to maintain the prison. They want to maximize their profit, and they want to have as many prisoners they can have. So that's why they decide to send bribes to the judges, right? Okay, so this is a very dark story, but nevertheless, they just show us the economics is everywhere, right? But certainly So this story has other aspect, like moral issue, like legal issue. But here, I just show you or explain to you the phenomena through the lens of economics, right? Now we go to the fifth principle. Okay? It says there are gains from trade, right? And trade allow us all to consume more than we otherwise could. In this background picture, it represents two opposite worlds. On the right hand side, this is probably like a typical American middle class. On the left hand side, this is probably like a typical developing country in Africa or in Asia. Right? And so without learning this principle, it becomes very difficult to imagine. So these two can benefit from each other. But then later, so we have one chapter is devoted to this topic to help you to understand even a rich country or a highly sophisticated society, it still can benefit from trading with a very poor country, like we saw on the left-hand side of this picture, right? But then the secret lies behind this gain from trade comes from specialization. What is specialization? This is the situation in which each person specializes in the task that he or she is good at performing. Right? Let's just say, for example, any students in our class versus me. Okay, so we both have our specialization. Okay, in absolute term. Okay, so maybe you are not as good as me in doing certain things. Say, for example, let's just say there are two tasks we have to finish. One is to clean the snow. The other is to write an essay or write an article about the current issue of the macroeconomy. Right? So let's say, for example, there are two tasks. Okay, we need to finish. So yes, it seems like I may be better at performing both compared with you. But still, so you may specialize in clean the snow, right? And so this specialization, to understand this specialization, we may wait a little bit until we understand the opportunity cost of doing one thing versus other. But nevertheless, for now, so you understand there's a term called specialization. And this specialization is the force behind the gain from trade. For now, that's good enough. Right. All right, so the last principle, I believe that's the last principle. So we will review is equilibrium. Market move towards equilibrium. But what is equilibrium? Equilibrium is an economic situation in which no individual would be better off doing something different. And then, so we are in a balance. And then, so we are in a state or in a situation, we are indifferent. We are indifferent between doing A versus B. We are indifferent between doing one more or doing one less. Okay, so this is equilibrium. Okay, and then so we can look at many examples. Okay, think about when you go to a grocery store, right? And then so in terms of grocery store, so typically so there's a waiting line in front of you, right? And then so you always pick the shortest line, Okay, but then so everyone do the same things. And what is the equilibrium? The equilibrium is so you are in front of a group of people, and then there are several cashiers you can pick, and then so everyone pick the one you think that is the shortest line. And then in equilibrium, everybody do the same things, everybody do the same calculation, and turns out there's no gain for you to differentiate or choose A versus B, because every cashier, you're going to see roughly the same waiting time, right? So that's equilibrium. Okay. Now, okay, let's just take a few minutes break, and then so when we come back, we will watch this short video to see how the equilibrium will form in reality, right?